This is the guitar lesson for the song Asthenia by Blink-182 off of their 2003 Untitled album. So the song begins with this really long intro, which it's not really played on a guitar, it's just kind of like a long sort of like intro into the song, and there's this snippet taken from the Apollo mission of the astronauts talking to each other. And it all kind of builds up, and like it's just like the song keeps coming back to the D. And so if you wanted to live, if you were building up an intro, you could just kind of keep playing that. Anyways, it builds up for like a minute, and then we get into what I would call where the guitar comes in, and it's kicked off with the drums, and it's so what you want to do for that is take your middle finger and put that on the 7th of the G, and then take your index finger and put that just behind it on the 6th of the G. And so you can do that if you want to. So you want to be pressuring down with both of those fingers. Take your ring finger and put that on the 7th of the B. So what you're going to do to start off with is you're going to play the 7th on the G, and then you're going to hit the open D string, and then you're going to hit the 7th on the G. So that's 7th on the G, open D, 7th on the B. And then what you're going to do is you can come back to the 7th on the G, hit the open D after that, and then lift your middle finger off and play the 6th on the G. And then you repeat it to finish off. And then so it's one more time. And then it leads into the verse, and Tom has an effect on his guitar in the verse, but essentially what he's playing is and what that is that we start off with an octave, a D octave. So put your index finger on the 5th of the A, and then you're going to want to use your pinky because we're going to end up doing a bit of a stretch. So use your pinky on the 7th of the G. So that's down, down, up, down, up. And then what you do is you just slide your index finger down half a step to the 4th in the A. And then you take this shape, and then you move it down 2 frets. But you'll want your pinky on the 4th of the G. And then you slide up a whole step, and instead of having our pinky on the 7th of the G, we just have it here on the 6th. And when you're doing this, I'm assuming that people who are watching tutorials on how to learn Blink songs are absolute beginners. So just to clarify, when you're doing this, you don't want the other strings ringing out. That's not going to sound good. So you want to be muting the other strings, and that's just all about technique, and that's obviously something that I am yet to perfect. I've been playing for a few years. Going to be 5 years this year I've been playing, but it just comes with practice. Like, you'll get there. Just keep practicing. And then eventually it just feels that much better when you actually do get it, and then you can play along with the recording, and it's just a lot of fun, and you'll remember why you started learning guitar in the first place, which is really to have fun, hopefully. So after that, so we do that, so it's, the verse happens, and then we go into the pre-chorus, and that goes okay, so this is where it probably gets a bit tricky. it does sound a lot better when you have distortion, and my amp is currently broken at the moment. I'm actually plugged into a bass amp right now. And I can't get distortion on this thing, but if you plug this in and get like a chorus effect going on this bit with some distortion, Bob's your uncle. So you want to play that twice, and I'm just going down, up, down, up, down, up. I think I've seen Tom, sometimes he does a lot of downstrokes live, and that's, I guess that's alright. That's very punk rock, obviously, but I just feel like you're not tiring out your hand as much if you go down, up, down, up, down, up. So play that twice, and then you slide down half a step, play that twice, slide back up to the D, and then slide up a whole step to an E octave. So we go. So what we do on the fifth time is we go, we play to there, but instead of going, we come over here to the second of the E, fourth of the A, and fourth of the D, and we palm mute that, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the second fret, E string, fourth fret, A string, fourth fret, D string. So then you repeat that again. You repeat that whole sequence, that and then we move into the chorus, and this is how the chorus goes. And that this is it's really easy to play. It's really fun to play along with, and it's a great practice riff. It's a great warm-up riff. Normally when I pick up a guitar, this is actually my go-to to just kind of warm up a little bit. And so we start, index finger is going to go second of the E, and we're going to stretch our pinky over to the fifth of the A. So you're playing the E string twice, and then playing the A string twice. And then so you do that, and then you slide up half a step to what's now a G. So that's the third fret of the E string. So you play it twice, and then play that twice, and then play it once the final time, and then what you do is you get your ring finger, and the whole time pinky for this part here is staying on the fifth of the A. You get your ring finger and you place that on the fifth of the E, and then this is where it can get a bit tricky. So you got your fifth of the A and then fifth of the D, and then on that you come back, you place, I personally feel comfortable placing my index finger on the fourth of the A. So that's so yeah, that's what we finish off with. So what I do is I've got it here, and as soon as I come to that fourth on the A, I lift my ring finger and pinky off, and then I place my middle finger on the fifth of the E. So you got, and yeah, so that's the chorus. If you want to, that's a sort of a basic way to play the chorus. If you want to really sound like the recording, what he's doing is he's going. So that's. So that's you can do that. You can add that in. So then, yeah, we come back to that intro riff. Then eventually we do the chorus again. Then we'll come to the bridge section of the song, and that's really fun to play. I mean, in my opinion, this song in general is just fun to play. A lot of Blink songs are. So the bridge goes. So what we'll do is we'll start off again. We come back to this D octave. So that strumming pattern is, and that's the rhythm. And then so in between that, I actually can't remember if this is happening during the recording, but live, and especially when you don't have a drummer with you, just adding in these accents in between guitar riffs. So that's just 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we play the exact same spot again, but we just bend the strings as we're doing it. So yeah, so that's going to take a lot of practice for absolute beginners, and yeah, just keep practicing that. Eventually you'll get it. It took me a while. I imagine it would be hard to try and bend and at the same time mute the other strings, so you're not getting. So I imagine that would be difficult. But just keep practicing. Blink are a great gateway band into rock music. A lot of their songs can border on. They can go from absolute beginner songs to sort of like bridge you into intermediate, and I think personally that's where I am at right now. I mean, I would consider myself headed into intermediate, and so I'm just trying to, I remember Blink were a big part of me learning guitar, so I'm just trying to like pass on a bit of that knowledge, because they have a lot of fun songs that will test you, but at the same time you'll sort of get the fundamentals of guitar playing, like power chords and simple riffs and the pentatonic scale down pat. So that turned into a monologue and a half, so we've 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we come up here to the 9th of the E and the 11th of the G, and then for that last bit we go down a whole step to the E octave. So, and so that E octave is your index finger on the 7th of the A, ring finger on the 9th of the G. And then we just finish it off with back on that D. And then we move into the next part of the bridge, and that goes. So we start off at the D over here, a D power chord, and so a D power chord is where you don't add your ring finger, your middle finger, sorry to offend, but you don't add that because that's a full D. You take that off. And you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then what you want to do is, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the D, and it's palm muted. And this whole section here that we're doing right now is palm muted, and you play on the 4th of the D. 2, 3, 4. You play that 4 times. 1, and then so you play that 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you get your middle finger and you add that onto the 5th of the D, and then you come down and you finish on the 2nd fret of the D string, and then you just repeat that. Play that on the 2nd of the D, you play that 6 times. Oh, sorry, you play that 8 times on the 2nd of the D. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So then after you've finished on it then resets, and you just play the open D string 5 times, and then palm mute the D power chord again. So then it repeats after you play the open D string 4 times, sorry. So you go 1, 2, and you finish on the D chord, and then that's pretty much the whole song. Those are all the parts. Yeah, so just keep practicing. It's got a few nifty little slides in there, and if you're starting to get into like amp settings and that, or using pedals, you can get all these cool different sounds and that. And yeah, you've got a nice little sort of like a warm up riff up top for the chorus. It's a great song to just to try and get better with. Even advanced players who are probably way more advanced than I am, that wouldn't be too hard. But even just keep playing it because it's a great fundamental song, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe my opinion doesn't really matter, but I just think it's pretty cool. So just keep playing, keep practicing, and yeah, enjoy.